There's only one other card remaining. 777777. Talk about a lucky number. But wait, that doesn't make sense. How could Detective Goodman have entered the evidence room? Since there's no record of his card being used beforehand, he must have entered along with the real murderer. Dun dun dun! That's the only plausible explanation. He went in with 77777777. 77.
Oh yeah, because I guess if someone went in and they just went in together, you wouldn't need both ID cards. Yeah. Which seems like you probably should still have to write your card down for incidents like this specifically, but whatever.
Mr. Edgeworth, please look into this ASAP. Find out just who his ID number is. That's 17 too many,
He says
Your Honor.
8 sevens.
Damn it. Unfortunately, I'm unable to look up the owner of that ID card. At least at present. What?
He doesn't have it on him now.
Don't you own all these people? Explain yourself, son.
Don't call me son.
The ID number
Dad.
777777 belongs to someone with a rank of captain or higher. Someone who is a so-called executive officer. Well, if the glove fits. We don't have the authority to inquire into such a person's identity. Well, it narrows it down to 3 people, right?
Yeah.
But that's ridiculous. Just how... I'm not finished talking, Mr. Wright. There was one situation in which we can be granted such authority. If an official charge filed against an executive is accepted. An official charge. You're all alike, aren't you? With your cover-ups and your forgeries. That's how the prosecutor's office operates. I take pride in my work, Officer Marshall. I would appreciate it if you keep your slander to yourself. Slander, is it? Okay. Let me ask a question. Yes. No, not you, to her. The defendant sitting over there. Your own little executive. Lana? She speaks? Don't be stupid. She's been charged with murder. Of course we've looked up her ID number, and it's not 777777. Don't play me for a fool, partner. That's not what I wanted to ask. All I wanted to know is one thing about that incident. The SL9 incident? Answer me this, Chief Prosecutor. In that trial 2 years ago, did you really only use legitimate evidence? Dun dun dun. Is he currently interrogating somebody else who's also on the same witness stand as him?
Yeah, I was gonna say, he's out of bounds. He's in trouble still. He needs to stop talking like he's in charge here, because he's not.
It's like the idea that
he's in big trouble, Buster.
And they somehow both simultaneously occupy the witness stand. But also, he's not a prosecutor or a defense attorney, so he shouldn't really be controlling the course of this whole thing.
Yeah, no, he needs to take a seat.
Meanwhile, Lana, they don't want Lana on the defense stand because she'll incriminate herself. Bad bet. Do you need the witness to repeat his question, Chief Prosecutor? What? Why, Edgeworth?
Don't let the witness...
Why are we following the marshal's rules?
Yeah, don't let the witness ask questions.
He's not either lawyer or the judge.
And he's in big trouble.
Yeah.
I heard him fine, Mr. Edgeworth.
2 years ago, I was in charge of the prosecution for that trial. At that time,
we were, or I don't know, I forgot what he ended that with.
Yeah, it went on its own.
Occasionally, we felt the powerlessness of the law. At least, I did. Lana, I became a prosecutor in order to suppress crime with the law. Before I realized it, we were the ones being suppressed by the law.
Defendant, just what are you saying? They're still at the same desk.
What?
They're both at the same stand talking to each other. I'll ask you again, Chief Prosecutor. during that trial 2 years ago, did you really present all the evidence in court? Can you look at me, an investigator in that crime, in the eye and say that you did?
It's also a conflict of interest because it was implied by Emma.
Everyone has a conflict of interest in this entire case except the judge and me.
But it was implied by Emma that they were like kind of like dating or something.
Oh yeah. Chief Prosecutor, you didn't.
I don't have to, Officer Marshall.
Why won't you answer him? What?
Drastic crimes require drastic measures.
Oh.
That's just the way it is. We did what we had to. That's weird. In order for him to get the verdict he deserved.
She's looking at Phoenix.
She's appealing.
And Lana.
Emotionally. But Lana, even if it involved forging evidence.
Whoa. Where are you? See, that's what I'm talking about.
See, I want, you know, like there's like a layout of like the evidence room. Like, I want a layout of the.
We just got a wide shot. Where
yeah.
is Marshall? There's nowhere for him to be in the room. The chaos in the courtroom could not be quelled. The conclusion of the trial would have to wait until the following day. The text just started auto-proceeding.
It did.
The last like 5 lines all went on their own. I'm like, excuse me, I'm the player. Wait for me.
I have agency.
Well, chaos mode. Lana admitted to doing a felony.
Yes.
Or something. Some naughty shit you're doing there, Lana. You have to deal with that next episode.
She's a martyr. She's a martyr for justice.
Yeah. Justice. This is exciting.
It is exciting.
Assuming there's not a twist about the structure or something, it's time for our final investigation sequence. I expect it to be 18 hours long.
Well, I hope for nothing less.
We'll be here for a century. February 24th.
Stuck with me for a century.
3:12 p.m. Wright and Co. Law offices.
Wright and sidekick occasionally.
I'm sorry for contributing nothing, Mr. Wright.
I'm so sorry, Mr. Wright. Like, she did nothing. I'm so mad at her.
Her big interruption was nothing. She was just like, try more.
Yeah, and really, like, that really makes everyone question our credibility. If a 16-year-old girl shows up and just goes, like, throws in some, like, sad sack emotional appeal. Like, my sister, though. I'm sorry for what my sister said. Drastic crimes require drastic measures. That's just the way it is.
That's just the way it is.
We did what we had to in order to get him... I fucked up that line both times. In order for him to get the verdict he deserved. I didn't know. I never knew that the SL9 incident was just another name for the Joe Dark killings.
It sounds like everyone's heard about these killings but me.
Lana wanted Dark convicted so badly.
Yeah, how did you not know about a local serial killer?
Well, I don't think she knew about it was like the official name for it.
No, Phoenix keeps saying.
Oh, I don't know.
Like, everyone knows about this but me. It's like, yeah, why don't you know about the local serial killer that happened? Aren't you local?
That's why she used me. That's why she used what happened to me.
What do you mean, what happened to you?
It's all there in the file. Joe Dark's last victim was prosecutor Neil Marshall. When he murdered Officer Marshall's brother, he left behind an incriminating piece of evidence.
But what did you have to do with those killings, Emma?
She participated.
She was Joe Dark.
Oh my gosh, that'd be great. On the night prosecutor Neil Marshall was murdered, Joe Dark tried to kill me.
What? He tried to kill you?
Officer Marshall's brother, Neil, was only trying to save me.
So that means you.
Yes. I was a witness in the Joe Dark trial.
I didn't see that one coming. Since the statute of limitations was ending, that means they never. Yeah, because they never did do the They never convicted him, right?
Well, no, I think they did.
Wait, perpetrator Joe Dark, crime, serial murder, sentenced death.
Oh wait, yeah, no, I think he got convicted. So okay.
I thought the statute of limitations was only for open trials.
What? And I think you can, yeah, I think in real life
Because that evidence room is for solved cases.
Yes. But I think, I don't know. I don't know why they're trying to get into it.
I've lost the thread a little bit here now.
Yeah.
So
it was solved.
In what way is Marshall?
It says solved 2 years ago.
Does Marshall think they got the wrong guy?
No, I think he's just upset that they all got in trouble for forging evidence, because they all did to get him in trouble, and every person got like demoted as a result of it. But I don't know what they think they can fix about that. But yeah, so in any other instance, the forging evidence thing is seen as being like cruel and bad. Like Edgeworth like forges evidence, you know. But like when Lana Skye does it, it's because the person very obviously committed murders, and so like as an audience member, it's like, oh, her character is still pristine in my eyes because this guy was definitely a serial killer. So she's in the right.
She was taking revenge for the fact that her own sister was about to be murdered.
Yeah.
And one of her coworkers was murdered.
But I like how like in other cases we've been in, when somebody edits evidence, it's like always bad. That's wrong. Yeah. But in this situation, it's okay. Yeah. You know, we're gonna look the other way on this one.
This is always what people think they are when they're all like, all these restrictions are just getting between me and justice, and they're just making it so I can't do my job. But actually, it's like they're actually there to protect people.
Well, the vigilante justice thing really only works.
It doesn't.
If you're right. That's the thing is that people aren't right all the time. You're going to think you're right, but a lot of people would get wrongly convicted if vigilante justice was something that everybody did. In movies and stuff, you always have the perspective of knowing that like they did it. Actually, I just watched, I won't say which movie because it'll ruin it for you, but I saw a movie recently where it was like this, where there was vigilante justice, but at the last minute they did all this stuff and they realized that they were actually in the wrong the whole time, and now they're just their life is ruined because they knew they did some terrible things.
Yes.
That was the twist, because movies archetypically follow the route of like the vigilante justice.
Yeah, I think
person is always right.
I think I told you this before, but it was like it's that fucked up thing where people in the military and people in the police force put the Punisher patch on their clothes.
Yeah.
Because they idolize this like vigilante character that doesn't have to obey any rules and can just seek justice no matter what. But like, the Punisher is like very clearly an unhinged, horrible person. Like his own creator called him a serial killer because that's what he is. Like the Punisher's a terrible person, and it's really fucked up, especially in the light of, you know, the current discussion and so on. To have police officers idolizing a character that doesn't believe in regulations and rules and just does whatever it takes to get justice.
That's always what I liked about, like,
we have all these television shows that like normalize torturing people,
like Watchmen and stuff. You have like these characters who are involved in like the Vietnam War, and it's like they think they're in the right, but it's like, are they?
Nothing complicates your superheroes like having them fight in the Vietnam War. That's when I got my dad to respect what superhero comics could be, because I explained the whole plotline of Watchmen to him, and he was like, JFK was in that comic book, and I was like, yeah, no, this is sophisticated stuff, and he's like, oh, I might have to actually read that, and I'm like, no, you shouldn't. And V for Vendetta.
It happened 2 years ago. I was right about this time of the year too. Oh, it was right about this time of the year. There was a terrible thunderstorm that day, unusual for the season.
It was right around this time of year. Yeah, it's statute of limitations, 2 years.
Yeah, dummy.
That's a very short.
I was alone in my sister's office. We were planning to eat dinner together once she finished her work. Wait, isn't that what happened with Maya's sister too?
Oh wait, statute of limitations is like 10 years or something like that.
In real life,
There's some kind of, no, in this game. The last case, remember?
Yeah.
It's just a different thing where they get rid of the evidence of closed cases after 2 years. But that means that even...
Yeah, that's the statute of limitations thing. Like, how are you gonna follow that through if you can't access the evidence again?
But like, well, that's the thing, is the statute of limitations is for unsolved cases, and it's 10 years. But...
Oh, but it's a solved case.
This is a solved case.
Yeah.
And it's just the fact that they hold on to evidence for like 2 years for whatever reason. But like, we've never been introduced to any kind of mechanism through which people can like reopen a case if it was already closed. So like... It doesn't seem like there was any universe where Marshall was going to accomplish anything by getting that stuff. It's like, dude, it's over. This evidence can't be used again because the case is over, and I don't think they can reopen it. I don't know.
Oh, sorry. I was like thinking about what you were saying. Then suddenly, this terrifying man came bursting into the office.
And he had like hypnotism eyes.
He does, like that snake from the Jungle Book.
Joe Dark.
It seemed like he was running from someone. He pulled out a knife and screamed at me.
Ah!
I didn't know what was going on. Just then, Prosecutor Marshall showed up.
Jake Marshall's brother.
Joe Dark tried to take me hostage. But before he could, Mr. Marshall tackled him.
Yeah, it sounds like Marshall was already chasing him.
Yeah, well, he's probably like trying to, last-ditch effort. Hostage, can't hurt me now, huh?
It feels like Emma misrepresented the situation when she brought it up earlier.
Yeah.
It fell over.
Oh, that scared me.
Yeah, something fell over outside. They frame it like she framed it like she was getting attacked, and Marshall came in and rescued her, and then died. But it sounds like Marshall was definitely already chasing him, and that was it.
Then,
what happened?
I'll never forget it. Lightning struck, and the lights went out. Suddenly, a bold lightning flashed outside the window, lighting up the office for an instant. What I saw then has burned a permanent picture in my mind. I can still see it now.
Permanent picture? What did you see in the instant the crime occurred? His hair. Oh my god.
He's like a turnip.
Oh my god.
Or like a macaroon cookie.
That is not clear in the other angle.
Gosh, that's bad. Why would you do that? Oh yeah, he looks like the Lollipop Guild. The Lollipop Guild. Oh gosh. Dark knocked on Mr. Marshall and raised his knife. Wait, that was Joe Dark?
Yeah, that's Joe Dark's hair.
Why?
Why?
Neil Marshall. Oh yeah, I see you.
Neil Marshall was stabbed right in front of this poor girl.
Gosh dang. No wonder why he's a killer. He's so mad about his hair.
He tackled him very poorly.
I don't remember what happened after that. Apparently I passed out. When I came to, Lana was cradling me in her arms.
They're reusing the imagery of Mia's death here.
Well, and then she's also wearing like Mia's jacket. Like a little Eskimo suit.
Yeah.
Oh, it kind of reminds me of like what she was wearing.
Straight up how she died. She died sitting under a window like that.
Yeah, and like I said, they were both.
We met Maya when she's laying against Mia's bed crying.
And then we remember they're going to go get dinner, and that's what the whole thing was. Yeah. That's why they met up, and it was in her office also.
You know, you guys can also write new characters.
Nah.
I mean, I guess Lana gets to live, so there's that. Poor Emma, you've been through so much.
I couldn't bring myself to testify about that instant. I tried, but the words just wouldn't come out. I drew a picture, but it wasn't any good. It's
like a shitty children's drawing on the fridge, but for a murder investigation. It says like crayon.
Aww.
2 years ago, you must have been 14. That's understandable. As opposed to now, when being traumatized is illegal and embarrassing. How dare you?
Once it was all over, I made up my mind. I decided that when I grew up, I'd become a scientific investigator. I want to be able to fight crime with my testimonies.
In this universe, you can only pursue careers because of trauma. There's no other reason you're allowed to pursue careers.
That's how your career chooses you. It's through trauma.
Yeah, everyone has a sad, this tragic backstory.
And find the evidence to make an airtight case. That way, Lana would never have to forge any. Oh, that's actually kind of sweet.
Meanwhile, Phoenix is a lawyer basically because he got picked on.
Yeah. See, yeah, trauma, see?
I think I'm finally starting to understand what makes Emma tick. But there's still something that bothers me about that crime.
I don't remember the moment when Dark stabbed Mr. Marshall.
So you weren't able to testify about that?
No, I was only asked about when I was attacked. That must have been why she made up the crime.
Made it up? You mean provided bogus evidence?
The prosecutor's office wanted that guilty verdict so badly. Lana forged the evidence and Mr. Edgeworth used it.
Edgeworth?
Yes. But I'm sure he didn't know anything about it. He could have known he was being given false evidence. Even so, that's when it all started. The rumors about Mr. Edgeworth, I mean, it's all my fault. If I could have just testified properly, none of this would have happened.
So it's true, even though he may not have known it. Edgeworth really was involved in falsifying evidence.
But remember we saw him do it once.
Yeah, he does it all the time, apparently. Well, he's like, well, if they're gonna think I'm a criminal, I might as well just be one.
After that case ended, Lana was never the same. She became cold like she is today. I can't imagine her not being that way.
She must not have been able to face up to what she did, especially not to Emma. There's something that's puzzling me, Emma.
What is it?
You said you were in Lana's office at the time, right?
That's right.
Why then would a serial killer come running in there? Not only that, but he was being chased by a prosecutor?
Oh, there's no mystery there. Joe Dark had been taken in for questioning that day.
Taken in for questioning? You mean by the police?
Of course. This happened at the police department. He tried to run away halfway through the interview and fled into my sister's office.
But why did he run all the way over to your sister's office? Probably to kill her. But also, this happened in the police department? Like,
well, guys, get your security under control.
Aren't there like a dozen witnesses at that point? Do we need... Why does Emma have to testify?
Yeah. Yeah, true.
It was literally at the police department. Why they need cameras? Get cameras in these buildings. It keeps
cameras
being a problem.
Just apparently are too expensive for all these buildings.
Like every day, apparently.
Yeah, you know, a lot of these cases would have been over in 2 seconds if there were cameras in the right spot, and that's why they're not there.
A disproportionate number of cases are taking place in the police department.
They don't got their shit together, dude.
It's getting fucking weird.
And also, remember that guard that like watches over the people in jail? Like, what was he doing? Isn't he like?
Yeah.
Did he get smacked around?
Like the
guy that never moves? Yeah. Because the detective's offices and the questioning room are right across from the elevator.
Across from the elevator?
That's actually bad because why would he take the elevator?
Prosecutor, wasn't she?
No, silly. Didn't I tell you? 2 years ago, Lana was a detective. She was the best in the entire force.
What? That's news to me.
After the Joe Dark case, she was transferred to the prosecutor's office and made chief prosecutor. Instantly with no experience in prosecuting.
Yeah, she like ran a different...
I want a promotion like that.
Why is the chief prosecutor a detective? She was made straight to chief prosecutor? It's the wrong field. Nothing ever makes sense in this universe.
No.
It's fucking nuts. Lana used to be a detective? I better have another talk with her. Yes. Yes. Exactly. What the fuck?
Lana. Mr. Wright, it seems I keep causing you trouble.
Yes. Falsifying evidence?
I didn't think you were the type.
I didn't think you were the type.
Sorry. She moved, so you know.
Yeah, so that's what it feels like every time.
Criminals don't mind playing foul. Why should we? But Lana, if you're wrong, an innocent person might be found guilty. Believe me, I understand the risks.
Lana. Emma told me about you.
Oh?
About how you were a detective 2 years ago. And how the SL9 incident was the reason for your transfer to the prosecutor's office. Sorry, was this just in here? She's a witness. And she's an investigator.
Yeah, we didn't notice that before?
It's just sitting there. But I think she's an executive investigator along with Damon Gant.
Oh, wait. He's the chief of police now.
Yeah, which makes more sense than becoming prosecutor.
Yeah, I guess so.
Jib.
They all got promotions from this case, apparently.
The one where they're suspected of crimes. And how the SL9 incident was the reason for your transfer to the prosecutor's office.
That's right.
Could you fill me in on the details? Especially about the unusual change of jobs.
Yes, please. I suppose you have a right to know, Mr. Wright.
Also, can you just tell me all the shit you're hiding from me so I can do my
job?
A lot of revelations were uncovered at the trial today, not the least of which was the fact that this case is largely connected to another one 2 years ago. Which we as players are like, yeah, no duh.
No duh.
Because half of our evidence is from this other case, so we're like, we know where this is going.
Evidence from that case was stolen as well, though I expected as much. I know how obsessive Officer Marshall can be. That trial, it really wasn't fair, was it? I believed in you, Lana. I believed that no matter what happened, you'd always stick to the truth.
Nah, bruh.
It couldn't be helped, Emma. At that trial 2 years ago, I sold my soul.
Well, all drama aside, the fact of the matter is, at 5:15 there was no murder at the police department.
Tell me it's not true, Lana. What the witness, Miss Starr, said. About you stabbing Mr. Goodman with a knife. Lana, I don't understand. Why won't you tell us? Emma, this doesn't involve just me. It's Edgeworth, I told you.
I don't think I've ever seen Lana look so phased before.
It's true. I was a member of the police force 2 years ago. She was amazing. That's a cool picture.
Yeah, look at her fucking scarf. I mean, muffler.
It's very, like... looks very cool. They still talk about all the cases she and Chief Gant cracked together.
Chief Gant?
He was the deputy chief of police back then, but he still worked the crime scenes. Damon Gant, he was everything I aspired to be. They were the best team ever! They solved crimes before the reports could even be filed.
Emma really idolizes her big sister. But now you're chief prosecutor, what happened?
I always planned on becoming a prosecutor. The reason I became a detective was... to gain experience investigating crime scenes so you could use the experience in court, right? Actually, yeah, it's kind of a, like, multifaceted way to do something.
It's still just a confusing thing.
It is confusing.
Like, I get it, like, I always wanted to be a video game level designer, so I took some classes in architecture. It's like, sure. But like, when are you gonna...
Roundabout way of getting there.
But like, also, when are you gonna be a level... When are you gonna take, like, some programming and game design classes? Like, when were you gonna... no part of her trajectory featured her being a prosecutor before she was chief prosecutor. It's like, wait, what?
Yeah, I guess a very different...
It's like, that is useful, but also be a prosecutor.
Very different college degrees.
You know what's really good at good experience for being a chief prosecutor? Being a prosecutor.
For a long time.
Fucking mind blown.
Gant's help in the SL9 case was crucial to its resolution. After that, he became chief of police and arranged my transfer to the prosecutor's office.
After defeating the previous chief of police in single combat. Maybe I should ask more about this investigation of theirs 2 years ago.
2 years ago, I was second in command of the detectives investigating Dark.
Second in command? That means the investigation lead was Damon Gant, right?
Yes. Deputy Chief Gant and I shared the same office and the same investigations.
They even had the same office.
We led a team of the best detectives on the force. What a cool team. Oh, I don't like Cowboy. I don't like him. Get him out.
Two cowboys.
Actually, I don't like Goodman either. I like the cowboy on the bottom. He looked cool, and I like Lunch Lady. She's my favorite.
They're like a 4-player game squad.
The other actually looking at like a what are they looking at? Like
they look like video game characters.
They're playing like a Monopoly game or something.
In costume.
Yeah. Detective Goodman, whose case it was, Jake Marshall and Angel Starr. It was the first time Marshall worked with his brother. He was quite gung-ho.
Their first time, and then dead.
Without a doubt, Joe Dark was the serial killer. We asked him to come in for questioning. We were desperate for evidence. That was when his final murder took place.
When he tried to murder Emma.
Prosecutor Marshall was trying to save me from Dark. You see, the first person who happened upon the scene of the crime was me.
Technically, the two people involved in the murder were the first.
Yeah, but one of them died, and the other one passed out.
3 people, yeah. Why didn't they just arrest him? Like, wouldn't you arrest him if he's the suspect? And you would search him for weapons?
Yeah.
And then handcuff him?
Yeah.
To the table for the interrogation? Not just like, let's just invite the knife guy over, and he's like, shit, they suspect me. I didn't know that when I was coming here.
I was coming here for tea, and I wasn't expecting to be asked about the murders I'm committing.
I guess I'll stab someone. Woo.
Woo.
Now I'm actually definitely the murderer because I stabbed someone in the police station.
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
Not that karma faced any consequences for assaulting people in a police station. Now you tell us.
Damon Gant and Neil Marshall were the ones questioning Dark that day. The investigation was in its final stages, and Dark must have suddenly panicked. So he waited until Gant and Marshall let their guards down and fled the room. From there, he ran straight to the office shared by Deputy Chief Gant and myself. That's where he found me.
So you were the first person to run to the scene, Lana?
It appears so. I was filing some papers while Gant and Marshall were questioning Dark. What a picture.
Why didn't Gant chase after it?
When I returned to my office, I saw 3 bodies on the floor and smelled blood.
Wait, what?
We talked about that earlier, how they smelled blood when
That's a lot of blood.
When Maya's sister died, there's like, it smells like blood. Like, they're talking about it, and I was like, that's weird. Like, I don't think about that often, but I guess if there was a lot of blood, you would smell it.
Well, this just got 1,000% more suspicious.
Because
Marshall's stabbed in the back and is somehow on top of the murderer.
I don't understand. Yeah. But the murderer didn't die too, right? Like, why is he on the ground? I don't understand this.
Was he dead when he was convicted?
That wasn't what I thought.
We shouldn't mention that.
Yeah, please explain this picture, Lana.
Like, I feel like we're gonna find out that Gant's the serial killer.
Probably.
And he just wanted this guy to get framed.
Gant's sketchy as fuck.
And then this guy panicked and tried to, like, fight his way out.
I mean, now that we know that everyone forged evidence, I don't think this guy was the murderer.
Yeah, with his stupid Hershey Kisses hair.
He kind of, well, never mind. I was gonna say, he kind of looks like Gant, because they both have those, like, eyes.
Yeah.
Like, they know each other, you know? He's like, I hate that guy, I'm gonna frame him for murder.
Oh, yeah, what if they're related with their white hair and everything?
Yeah,
and their weird eyes. But the fact that he was stabbed in the back makes you think that Gant killed Marshall.
Yeah, that picture doesn't make sense for what was supposedly happening.
Many questions raised.
Yep.
They were killed in Gant's office, too.